find a leader, when you find someone, they're a seed. You know what I mean? There's a seed of leadership. There's a seed of them growing. And you have got to speak to them as if they are the oak tree.
Yeah.
You have got to speak to them as if they are the field of harvest that represents not just them, but the hundreds and thousands of people they will impact in their lives. You got to speak to the mom that's struggling in the marriage and that's struggling with their kids. Like she's going to be the great-great-grandmother of generations of Christ followers that have healthy, beautiful families. And you got to paint the picture of the potential that's within them and speak to that constantly. Because hope leaks, vision leaks. People, I heard Brad White say, if you preach to broken people, you will always have an audience. Because people walk in here, people walk in every Sunday and they have an area of their lives that are broken. Every Sunday that they need hope in. And it's our job as the leaders to see the hope in them and to pull it out of them. And then if it's not even in them, to go, that's it right there. Let's go. Come on, we'll get you there. We'll get you there. Like you see and you speak to the potential in them. I wrote this down. Are you adding to people or are you subtracting to people? Everyone that's following you, you got to add value to them. I love that Nancy says she shows up 30 minutes before her volunteers. In other words, she's prepared for her people. If you lead a 2-minute Devo before your backstage meeting, if you lead a 5-minute Devo before the front row team gathers together, man, I hope you spent 50 minutes preparing that Devo in the presence of the Lord. Because then all of a sudden that 5 minutes, they're going to go, oh my God, Mike Biana, was he walking with Jesus all week? Like he just spoke to my soul. Did he read all of my text messages last night? Like what's going on? No, he was pouring, letting Jesus pour into him so that he could pour out Jesus on them. And it's that idea, are you adding, I want to be a person that every encounter I have, I'm not perfect in this, but I want to add to people's lives. I want people to be happy I'm around. I want people to be glad I'm in the room. I want to add to people's lives. I hate being in people's lives and I feel like, man, I subtracted. I hurt them, or I just sucked air, you know, or I was a de-energizer as opposed to an energizer. Every meeting you're in, be an energy bringer, be an energizer. You know what I mean? Like whatever that's it. Mike is great at modeling this. Whoever just said so good, that was perfect. That was right. Let's see. And I wrote this one not just as a side note. When it comes to like leading volunteers or a team or staff or anybody, I put know and care about their hopes and dreams.
So good.
So doesn't matter what ministry it's in. It could be a 4-person team under a purple tent. It could be a 100-person team in a production office. It doesn't matter. But know your people's hopes and dreams. One of the first questions I try and ask people, whether it's an internship or a staff position, if they follow me, I say, hey, how are you doing? I say, no, what's your dreams? Where are you trying to go in life? What do you want to accomplish? And then sometimes they'll kind of say something, you're like, nah, that's not what God's got on your life. But it's okay, I'm glad you got there. I could use an example. But my point is you know people's hopes and dreams, and then you help them get there. And if you can connect your ministry to their hopes and dreams, man, they'll kick into another gear for you. So the first one is see the harvest, or rather speak to the potential. The next one I wrote is growth takes time. Growth takes time, and I put this, spend time with your people. Spend real time with your people. Like, not just Sunday, and not just a staff meeting. Spend time with your people. The harvest that we want to see takes time. Again, the first 2 words, James says, be patient. But patience takes time. If you're not spending time with at least a couple members of your team every week, that's where that community comes from. Have you got the coffee schedule? Some of you are like, dude, I work a 9 to 5 and then I work another, 5:30 to 9:30. And I'm like, great. What about that half hour in between? Okay, what about the lunch break? What about the morning run? Bring them alongside of you in what you're doing. But find time to spend time with the people that are following you outside of the task.
That's good.
Does that make sense? Awesome. That's a hard one for me because I'm very task oriented and I'm not naturally community driven. And I got guys like Mike that are like, let's hang out. And I'm like, let's reach a city. And he's like, let's do both. And I'm like, yes, I need that. Like, I need that. But he's good at just building community because he cares about his people.
So good.
Number 3 on how to build leaders or how to grow leaders, I wrote fertilize the field. In other words, a farmer is constantly tending his field. Another way you could say this is be consistent. Be consistent. As you build a team, Like Lee, as you build your production team, it shouldn't take a month or two before people know this makes Lee happy. Right. This makes Lee sad. Consistently. This is consistently the level of excellence Lee looks for. This is consistently not going to make, like that, you are consistent. Lee consistently gets here 15 minutes. Lee consistently, if he needs something, words it in this way. You know what I mean? Like consistent communication, consistent expectation. Like consistency is huge when it comes to leading people. Because if they can't rely on you, like they're not going to follow you. If that farmer doesn't consistently fertilize the field, ain't no harvest coming. Right. I told you so many things here. This is all just in the farming verse, and we ain't even to the other ones. Oh God. So your first one. So those were all sub-points under pick the field, or rather choose a person, and this is how to grow the person. The next one I wrote down here when it comes to this farming illustration is you got to plot the land. Another way to say that is give a mission. Give a mission to your people. They got to know the mission. The farmer knows the field. He knows the plots. You know what I mean? He doesn't just get a plow and he's like, and it's just like, wherever the plow takes me. No, because then there will be no harvest. He knows his mission. A lot of times we lose people on our teams because they don't know the mission. They don't know why we're doing what we're doing. And so here's some really quick things to kind of help people when it comes to giving them a mission. Give clear expectations for your team. What do we expect? What do we expect? And when it comes to expectations, here's a phrase I've learned. When somebody does something and it's not like, don't say it like this. Don't say that's not what we do. You know what I mean? Like backstage, we wear all black. But if somebody shows up and they're in like a half-ironed gray t-shirt and like, khaki shorts and they know, don't say, hey, that's not what we do. Say, that's not who we are. Don't say that's not what we do. Say, that's not who we are. Because who we are is people of excellence. That value God and value the mission we've been given. So it's not that's not what we do. It's, hey, that's not who we are. Let's talk about who we are and why we do what we do. So you set clear expectations of who we are and the why behind what we're doing. And let me just give you guys a quick through. So what are the expectations of somebody that walks into Church by the Glades, Fort Lauderdale? Like a person that just sees the sign this Sunday, pulls in the front door, what are our expectations of it? Like what do we want to see happen? And they go, what am I expected to do? Well, first, the obvious one is we want them to come to Jesus. So I would say number one expectation is you say yes to Jesus and you get baptized. That's number one expectation. If you're in this room and you have not said yes to Jesus and you have not been baptized, now you have a clear expectation of your first action item as to, we'll do it tonight.
Amen.
We will baptize you. I don't right up the road, we will baptize you. And if you're not saved, we will make that happen tonight. It is the best decision you will ever make. I've been in staff meetings with people for months. And then they go, oh, by the way, they felt embarrassed. They haven't been baptized. And we were like, let's do it. Like, we're just excited for them. We're like, let's get this going, So your first expectation, anybody that comes in this, we want to see them saved and baptized. The second one right now, the next step, you would say serve. Are you serving? That's step number two. I've said yes to Jesus. I got baptized. Check. What's my next expectation? You're serving somewhere. That's how we disciple people here. Are you serving somewhere? Great. That's it. If they're not, now they know. Clear expectation. Say baptism, serve. Number three, right now, and I just put this one in, right now for our church, and the expectation that we are holding high right now is that you say yes to Jesus, you get baptized, say you're serving, and right now something we would hope and pray and expect, especially everybody in this room to go through. Have you been through FPU? Yeah. Have you been through Financial Peace University? That's good. That's an expectation that we want, because we want our leaders to be financially healthy. I don't want you to come in here and you can't hear what we're saying about Jesus and His Word because you're so stressed out about debt and bills. You know what I mean? You can't focus when you can't pay for things. Like you're just depressed. So an expectation we would have is that you go through FPU. If you haven't gone through that, we will sign you up tonight. Come on. If you need scholarshiping, come on. Talk to one of us. We'll see how we can help you. Make sense? Okay, super simple right now, right? Those expectations. If I haven't done them, now we know. Now we know the expectation. And then in every one of your ministry areas, what's our expectation? How should we look? Parking. You're expected to wear one of the vests. That way we don't run you over. We know you're a partner. That's the expectation, right? If you're a greeter, come looking nice. People want to look nice. Smile. That's an expectation. But people need to be told that. You'd be surprised how many greeters have, what is it called? RBF? Resting Blessed Face? Yeah. I wrote this down. Again, plot the land, give them a mission. But I wrote, people won't die for a task, but they will die for a mission. People won't die for a task, but they will die for a mission. In other words, you'll die because Jesus died for you. You will give your life to reaching people for the kingdom of God, because God is preparing a place for us in heaven for eternity. And there is a kingdom of light and hope to be found when we say yes to Jesus. You will die. You will live for that mission, and you will die for that mission. And so if fulfilling that mission means people need a place to park, then I'm going to park some cars because I want to get people in the kingdom of God. They won't give their lives for a task. But you give your life for the mission, and then all of a sudden the task has meaning. Connect every single task to the mission of the Great Commission.
That's good.
And they all do connect together. And if you as a leader, you got to be able to bring those dots together for people. You got to connect those dots, because if they can't connect the dots, they'll walk away.
That's
right. Okay. Gosh, so much more. All right.
That's really cool.
I don't know if we have time for that one. Here, I'll run through these real quick. So how do you put people on mission? And I kind of said some of these. I'll just run through them. Give clear expectations. Clear expectations. Clear expectations. Build a structure. Build a structure. I love how our worship team, they have planning center. You're going to get an email, you know, if you're scheduled, if you're not. And then they know when the rehearsal time is, and they know when the rehearsal time ends, and they know when the call time is for the rehearsal on Saturday, and then they know when they're expected. There is a structure in place so they know what they're stepping into.
Right.
And then I put systematic feedback and evaluation.
Wow.
Systematic, when it comes to a mission, systematic feedback and evaluation. At the end of every Sunday, you got to be like evaluating, and your people got to know, hey, on Monday, we get together, like we all got, the whole kids ministry gets together every Monday at 6 a.m., and we gather around and we have biscuits and gravy and coffee, and we all talk about 3 pros, 3 cons we saw every weekend. You know, there's systematic evaluation so that we get better.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So just in your team, figure these things out. Okay, I got to 5 of these. So number 1 was pick a field, pick the plants, which means choose people. Second one was give a mission, or rather plot the land. And then finally, I just put this one down. When it comes to the farmer, I put feel the hunger. The reason a farmer farms is because him and his family need to eat. Back in the day, that was it. And they couldn't forget that because they get hungry.
Right.
In other words, what I wrote here when it comes to feel the hunger is that you got to share the purpose. And it's kind of what I said earlier, but good leaders will ask the question, why? They will go, why are we doing this? If somebody comes to you and says, why? Don't be frustrated with that. Actually recognize that this person cares.
Right.
And if you can give them a good why, odds are they're going to run hard. Because they're going to know why they're doing what they're doing.
Man.
And so, man, I have way more, but I'm not going to dig into it. Okay, so that's just the first verse. I'm going to fly through the next few guys. I tell you, I love the Bible. Y'all love the Bible?
Yes.
You get that much out of a verse. It's so good. But he says, be patient, therefore, brothers, until the coming of the Lord. See how the farmer waits for the precious fruit of the earth, being patient about it. I love this, until it receives the early and the late rains. The early and the late rains. When you're trying to build your team, when you're trying to, grow your ministry, grow your field, see a harvest, there's going to be some people that run you, you're like, and you're like, oh my God, this is easy, early rain. And it's your other person, like Lee's going to be like, what the crap? Heather has a 100-person team. Like, I have 3. Man, what am I doing wrong? He just may have some late rains.
Right.
You got to be patient. Keep working your field.
Yes.
Keep working your field. And I do want to mention one more thing when it comes to expectations on that, because I want to give clear expectations here at Church by the Ways Fort Lauderdale. Asked Mike last week to talk to some of our ministry leaders here, and just ask them what their expectations are in the form of, like, how many discipleship opportunities, how many leadership opportunities do we have in each ministry area every weekend? You know what I mean? So if it's, guest services, if it's parking, if it's production, if it's worship, if it's kids ministry, if it's backstage, if it's hospitality, all our different areas that are represented in this room and even more, how many actual opportunities are there for somebody to walk in and step into a team and get discipled and join in the partnership and the plan? And he sent it to me, and they sent back some numbers. So like worship experience ministry, they said like 15 opportunities a weekend. Kids stuff said 19, VIP said 8, guest services says 20. There was a lot of numbers. Well, I didn't want to know these numbers. I went and I walked the whole campus, and I thought about each and every ministry, and I said, well, how many opportunities are there in every ministry, every weekend? And then not just every weekend, but in the life of this church, for people to actually get a part and be on mission with us. And so I'm just going to write these down for you guys, and you can punch me in the face if you want. We can talk about it afterwards. You can get excited about it, okay? So like first impressions, or guest services, GS. Let's try that, right? I don't know which one we call it there. So I just wrote a bunch down in a total. So I thought every weekend I went and walked every door, I walked the whole property, and I put like, we could have 8 greeters, 8 ushers, 4 coffee people, we could have 2 bookstore people, 4 floaters, 4 security, 6 roadside sign people, 10 parkers, and 5 people to do cleanup and prep. So that's a total every single weekend under Heather, 51 opportunities for discipleship.
Some of you guys heard your team is underneath that same team.
Correct, yeah, so like whatever that looks like there.
Right.
Now that's just one weekend.
Right.
So what that means is Heather doesn't want to burn her people out.
Right.
So she wants them to serve one, sit one, serve one, sit one, or serve one weekend a month. You know what I mean? So if her goal is that everybody will serve one weekend in a month, that means Heather's team is 104 people. That's her goal by the end of 2017.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Your math's off.
Is it off?
Times
51
4.
times 4. I'm sorry, you're right. Sorry. So times 4 would be 200 and
8.
204.
yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah. So, Heather, Josh just wanted you to have a bigger influence. That's all that was.
That's why he's leading up to you.
Exactly. Now, here's what's crazy, and I said this in the staff meeting. Heather could look at this and go, "Dear God, what is he smoking? We have 268 people here on a weekend. He wants the whole church to be in my ministry." You know? Yeah. But here's what we just named. Under her, greeters, ushers, coffee, bookstore, floaters, security, roads. That's like 9 leadership positions, man.
Right.
So we could rather do 10. She could have an assistant or something. So there's 4 quarters in a year. So help me, Josh. So divided by 4, what is that now? 51 again?
51.
Yeah. So that means every quarter, every 3 months, she's looking for 51 people.
Yeah.
That's a little bit more manageable, but still for Heather to look for 51, that's crazy.
Right.
But okay,
Right.
so in every quarter, how many, so that's what, 12? So you would divide that, anybody want to do this math real quick? So there's 3 months in a quarter, so it's 51 divided by 3. Somebody help me out.
17.
Okay, more or less, right? Okay, and then 17 divided by 4. Give me a rough estimate.
4.25.
Let's say 4. We'll just round about 4.
4.25.
Okay, so that means she's looking for 4 new leaders every week.
Ah.
That's way more. But now here's the crazy thing. I just said there's 9 leaders under her.
Amen.
Right. Right.
So that means 9 people are looking for 4 people every week.
That's
good.
good.
Wow.
There we go.
Wow.
That's way more
Wow.
manageable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because now you got, so that means every 2 people is looking for 1.
Yep.
Right.
So every person on her team is looking for a half a person. You know what I mean? So that's incredibly more. So what you did is you just took this huge pile of land and you broke it down into pieces.
Right.
That are
Right.
manageable.
Right.
And now all of a sudden, if every week she gathers her team together and she goes, all right, us 10 people, let's find 2. Let's find 4. Okay,
Right.
I'm gonna find 1. Y'all 8 find 1.
Right.
That's our 2 for the. You know
Right.
what I mean? And you break it down every week, and that's the goal. And now everybody's not just excited about seating people and parking people, but you got that extra mission there. Oh, God, I'm gonna find my 1. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, and people are like, why is he looking at me like that? You're like, you found 1, and then run, and then you're like, no, it's okay, it's for Jesus, and you have fun with him, you know. And then all of a sudden, at the end of 2017, Heather calls a guest services meeting.
Right.
And it can't fit in this room. And it can't fit in the fellowship hall.
That's right.
And they have to meet in the sanctuary because there's 204 people.
Right. Right.
And then she looks over her shoulder and she goes, how did that happen?
Yeah.
Because she had patience and she worked her field and she broke it down into pieces.
Right.
So again, so we don't have to do that for every ministry, but you can do it for your own. So I did like production and tech. So this is Lee's area. I said, you know, you got sound, video, and lighting and backstage, and you want probably a person shadowing every single one of those positions backstage because you're building a team. So I said 2 for sound, 2 for video, 2 for lighting, 1 backstage hand, 2 on cameras, 2 stage hands, and then 10 people to set up and 10 people to tear down. Because if you developed a separate team there, then that would actually probably lower your burnout a lot.
Yeah.
So that's 31 people a weekend.
Whoa.
For you that
Whoa.
should be following you a weekend. Yeah, and that's including your shadows. Again, you don't want to burn people out, so you multiply it by 4, and you go from there.
That's awesome.
And then you work it backwards. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you got that written down? You got it. All right. And the reason I'm doing this is because now Mike and I, as we work, because we're in the first quarter of 2017, these aren't arbitrary numbers. These are the goals now.
Right.
That makes sense?
Right.
So now, when we meet with Heather outside this meeting, when we meet with Lee outside this meeting, we're going to, how do we help you hit this?
Yeah.
Every weekend. Here's the goal. How do we help you hit this?
Yeah.
How do we help you hit this? And then all of a sudden we go, we're running 260 this weekend. Well, I guarantee you, if we're building teams like this and we're discipling, because this isn't just getting people served on the weekend, this is the coffees during the week. This is the yoga time out there and you're having fun and you're building community. This is the volleyball team that's, all the lighting guys. It's whatever it is. This is discipleship. All of a sudden, at the end of 2017, we say, how do we hit our goal of 1,000 people? Well, you run all these numbers back, and we have 50% of a campus serving, accomplishing our expectations, and it all kind of snowballs on itself. All right, keep going. Worship Experience Ministry, so this would be Ariel.
Let's go.
So I did, what do you got, like, you got E1, E2, bass, drums, and keys every weekend. So that's your musicians, and then you have probably 4 to 5 front line, plus background vocalists, people shadowing and all that. So I did 5 band, 4 vocal, hospitality 4, setup 5, tear down 5, and then I did a cleanup crew of 4. Just people to go around, take cables, do all that stuff, just for the stage, because Lee has his own cleanup crew separate from you. And then you want to shadow your people and all that. So I did 27 a weekend. That's following you, again, times 4. Go from there. So you got that goal?
Love it.
You got it.
I'm writing it down.
All right. Here we go.
I like it.
Kids stuff. My man Danny.
Let's go!
Danny, I kind of like estimated some of this because I kind of walked your rooms. I'm not sure which rooms you're using, but I know big numbers only help us aim for the stars, land on the moon. So I did like classroom leads. I wrote down 17, or let's go 16 for a round number there. Because I figured like 8 leads plus a shadow person with each of them. And when I say classroom leads, I mean maybe even your small group breakout stuff as the ministry grows. That's what we'd be looking for. I wrote 6 greeters just for kids ministry, a security team of 4, your worship team of 4, tech team of 5 because you want shadowers, check-in team of 6, a setup team of 10, and a tear-down team of 10. So that would be 57.
Whoa.
In the kids ministry is kind of where
What's up?
so that's 57 there. Yeah, and again, you want to see that times 4, so your people aren't getting burned out. And these are the goals we're shooting for.
Right.
And again, when you write these numbers down, see 57 souls. See discipleship opportunities.
Yes.
These are, never use the word need. Never use the word need when you're talking to people.
Right.
Don't come up to somebody and say, I need you to work hard. I need you to work with. You don't need anybody to do anything.
That's right.
They have an opportunity to partner in the most important mission in eternity. It's the truth. Like, hey, I have an opportunity for you to change kids' lives in eternity. Oh, you don't want to do that? Well, you're going to hell. No, I'm just kidding. Not like that, but you cast the big vision. VIP. I wrote tent number 1, 5 as second tent location of 5. Admin and data entry of 4. So you could go higher or lower, so I did 14. So that way it's all done on a Sunday. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
And then I wrote student ministry down. They need greeters, security, lighting, backstage camera. They need everything we just talked about on a Wednesday night. So student ministry alone is 55 people. So if you take out student ministry, because we don't have the X, that's a whole other ministry we're going to build. Overall, if you add all these up on any given weekend, our goal should be to have 180 people serving. Per weekend. That's what all this adds up to.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now again, it's so cool to get expectations, because now when you take your number and you break it down to this with your team, and you're going, now they're going, I'm not just opening a door. I'm building a team, which is building a church, which is saving a city, which is growing a kingdom.
Yes.
Make sense?
Right.
Okay.
What's our average right now?
Yeah, 50 to 60
50 to 60.
Are you serious?
with all teams.
Yeah, so we're almost a third of the way there already.
Yeah.
Praise God. See, I knew you guys were on this trip. All right, I'm going to finish out the scripture, and then I'm going to hand it back over to Mike. You also be patient, establish your hearts, for the coming of the Lord is at hand. Do not grumble against one another, brothers, so that you may not be judged. I don't have time to jump into this, but I want to say this real quick. Patience, leadership isn't just action, it's attitude.
Man.
Isn't just action, it's attitude. Here when he says do not grumble, James is using this word specifically because he's got a Jewish audience, and this immediately reminds them of Moses in the desert with the Israelite people.
Right.
The thing that made a 6-week journey to the promised land turned into a 40-year debacle. It says they grumbled against one another in the Lord.
Right.
So when he said this student's audience was like, oh dang, yeah, we don't want to do that.
Right.
There's nothing that'll keep you from your promised land. There's nothing that'll keep you from your goal and God's glory more than your attitude. Your attitude.
Right.
I love it's a specific attitude. It says don't grumble against one another. One of the things I love about this team is y'all build each other up, y'all cheer each other on, you have dance parties when people walk in the door. Like, you guys got this. But you gotta guard this.
Yeah.
So by that, I mean, don't be like a pit bull about it. Like if Lee's like, Man, Olivia sang that note wrong. I'm not gonna be like, Lee, no, don't grumble against Olivia. No. Man, just been evaluating. Like, right. But all of a sudden, if I hear that, you can hear it. You know when somebody's like that gossip or that grumble, pull them aside and be like, Lee, no, we don't do that. Lee, that's not who we are, man.
Right.
That's not who we are.
Yeah.
We're on the same team.
That's
Let's go
good
talk
stuff.
to her. Let's build this up. We ain't gonna grumble, we're gonna build. So just always check your heart. If you got any tension with another team member or something like that, go resolve it immediately.
Yeah.
Just immediately.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
go resolve it. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, did you mean to say that to me like that? Because that hurt me. And I guarantee you, Bianca's gonna be like, dude, I didn't even know I said that.
Yeah.
I'm so
Right.
sorry, dude.
Right.
My heart would never be to hurt you. And you're like, okay. Like, that goes back to assume the best too. Do not grumble against one another, brothers, so that you will not be judged. That's deep. Look at that in your own time. Behold, the judge is standing at the door. Scary. Verse 10, in a good way. As an example of suffering and patience, brothers, take the prophets who spoke in the name of the Lord. Behold, we consider those blessed who remain steadfast. You have heard of the steadfastness and patience of Job, and you have seen the purpose of the Lord, how he is compassionate and merciful. Right there, he says, you want to see what leadership looks like? You want to see what patience looks like in leadership? Look to the prophets. Look to the prophets. And some of you may be well-versed in your Bible, some of you may not. Some quick examples. He said, you want to see patience? Look to Ezekiel.
Yeah.
Ezekiel, God told him to lay on his side for over 350 days, half naked, and don't move. And we go, that's crazy. He's like, yeah, I want people to see how patient I'm being with them. I'm still here. I'm not moving. I'm turned towards you. And Ezekiel said, look at Hosea. God said, I want my people to see how I love them. So Hosea, go marry a woman from the other side of the city named Gomer. And you're going to marry Gomer, and she's going to cheat on you and run and sleep with another man multiple times. You're going to go and take her back. And then she's going to run and cheat on you again. And then she's going to be sold into slavery. And you're going to go and buy her out of slavery and bring her back to be your wife. And when people say, how do I love Israel? How do I love my people? Tell them, I love my people the way Hosea loves Gomer. The way you abandoned me, I will always be here. I will buy you back. I am here for you. Look to Ezekiel, look to Hosea, and then he kind of names the Michael Jordan of patience. He says, look to Job. You know the story of Job? It's insane. Like Job stared at 10 caskets full of 10 of his children after he just experienced an economic recession that makes 2009 look like child's play. Like his whole business, everything was destroyed, and then all 10 of his children were killed. And then his wife was nagging in his ear, saying, curse God and die. And he looked at her, and in the book of Job, he says, I won't do that, because I know my Redeemer lives. And this is just a word for somebody maybe tonight. I don't know what you're going through outside of church. I have no idea what you're going through financially, relationally, emotionally right now. No matter what you're going through, do not stand on how you feel. Always let what you know trump how you feel.
Amen.
You know your Redeemer lives.
That's good.
You know your Redeemer lives. And he can pull you out of whatever it is that you're going through right now.
So good.
And it's so, just remember, God's on the throne. Be patient. Be patient. And what's cool in this room, I mean, Walt and Nancy, y'all may be our patriarchs in here. Like, I mean, as far as like our, the wisdom circle back there. Because what I see is a lot of young leadership in here.
Come on.
And what I know in the Bible, when it talks about patience, like, David waited 18 years before he became king after he was anointed. Most of us haven't been in ministry that long. Like all our great heroes of the Bible, they waited decades and decades before they saw what God promised them come to fruition. Even the Hebrews chapter 11, the heroes of the faith, what made them heroes of the faith is they waited a lifetime and never saw.
Amen.
And God counted them as heroes of the faith because they were patient in affliction and tribulation, and they were just on the way. Guys, I really do believe the best is ahead of us in Fort Lauderdale in a huge way. I think God's going to do some huge things in this upcoming quarter, in this upcoming season. I mean, we've got some big plans that we're going to be kind of unfolding in the weeks to come that involve all of us and more people. But it starts with all of us kind of like digging our heels in and going, all right, we in this. Let's go. We're going to do it. We see the field. We're going to plot this land, and we are about to just work the field and work the field and work the field and work the field. And the Bible says the workers are the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. This is the workers, and we're going to work the field, and the harvest is all around us. Our goal is not to have a church of 200-300 people. Our goal is not to have a church of 500-600 people. Our goal is not to have a campus of 1,000 people. Our goal is to have a campus of thousands of people in Fort Lauderdale so we can fill
Amen.
heaven.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
That
that's good.
is the goal.
Yeah.
Amen.
And just remember, it's a big dream. It's a big dream.
Yeah.
But come January 2018, you'll be sitting in a room probably 2-3 times this size full of people.
Mhm.
And they're gonna go, oh my God, isn't it awesome? Like there's so many volunteers walking up on Sunday. We had 1,200 people here this Sunday. We're gonna be celebrating. Y'all are gonna be like, shut up. I was here, and there's 250 people here. Like, no, actually you're gonna be like, praise God, man. You don't even know,
Yeah,
but I'm so glad
yeah.
I saw that field before it was plowed and tilled. And
Right,
now
that's right,
I'm watching the harvest
right,
come.
that's right.
We just get to keep doing it, keep doing
That's
it.
right.
God, I'm so grateful to be here with you guys. I'm gonna kick it back to him. He's gonna go over some details for this coming weekend,
Mhm.
like practical expectations,
Mhm.
and the next weekend, Super Bowl Sunday. Then we're gonna pray and get out of here. How'd I do? Oh, it's only 8:20.
Great,
We're good.
great.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Let's go.